It was Christmas Eve at Buttercup Cottage. The house was covered with snow, and long squiggly icicles dangled from the roof. Little Red and her friends were ready to set off for Christmas Tree Wood, where their favourite little fir tree grew. "Let's get a wiggle on," said Little Red. "It's time to go, and we've got lots of presents to deliver along the way." Singing carols, the merry gang crunched through the snow while snowflakes bustled all around. In Purdy's pasture, they stopped to give the mouse family some sugary cinnamon sticks. Then they headed for Sunsum's meadow. Little Red had made some delicious treacle shortbread for the robins who lived there. And their last stop was to call on the badgers in Four-leaf Clover Field. "I made this acorn necklace for you, Mrs. Badger," said Little Red proudly. "And here's some of your favourite walnut fudge, Mr. Badger." She held out a beautifully wrapped bundle. Thank you," said Mr. Badger. "Now where are you off to next?" "We're going to find our tree, yippee!" yelled Little Blue with glee. The four friends arrived at the edge of Christmas Tree Wood. "Yippee-doodle-dan!" cried Little Blue, hopping from foot to foot and getting tangled in his scarf. He had just started to build an enormous snowman when Roni gave a cough. "Ahem!" she snorted as Carrot spluttered from her mouth. "I hate to break up the seasonal silliness, but what's that light coming from behind the trees?" "Whatever can it be?" wondered Little Blue. "I think I know who it could be," laughed Little Red merrily as she skipped into the wood. There in a clearing stood Father Christmas with his sleigh and his 8 reindeer. "How lovely to see you," said Little Red. "By jingle, by jolly, by Jove," chortled Father Christmas, "if it's not my dear friend Little Red." Little Blue, Roni, and Gino all looked on in amazement. They had no idea that Little Red was one of Father Christmas's friends. "I'm a little bit of a tizzy, my dear," explained Father Christmas. "Poor Percy has a streaming cold, and he just can't go on any longer. I'll never be able to get all these presents delivered with only 7 reindeer." "I have an idea," said Little Red, looking gingerly at Roni. "Oh, no," said Roni, flicking her mane defiantly. "I'm sorry, but I can't and I won't fly." As quick as a flash, Little Red grabbed her sack of smiles, and before Roni could say jingle bells, she sprinkled magic flying dust all over the stubborn pony's hooves. "Now you'll be able to fly," announced Little Red triumphantly. "We'll see about that," said a rather huffy Roni. "But if you're right, I'll expect an enormous bunch of carrots and a mountain of sugar lumps." "Your problem solved, Father Christmas," giggled Little Red as she kissed Roni's velvety nose. "I knew I could rely on you," she whispered.
"Ho, ho, ho!" laughed Father Christmas. "But time's running out and I'm still going to need some extra help. Could you come too, Little Red?"
"I think so," she answered. Then she turned to Little Blue. "I know that Percy will be safe in your care, and Bear too," said Little Red as she handed her beloved teddy to her friend. "He doesn't like heights, you see." Little Red hurried along to take her place next to Father Christmas on the sleigh. "I promised to bring you back a present, Little Blue," she called.
"Eyes forward!"
whooped Father Christmas to the reindeer and Roni as the sleigh whizzed off into the night air. As Roni's hooves left the ground, the carrot she was chewing dropped from her open mouth. "Christmas crackers!" she gasped. "I'm flying!" A very downcast Little Blue, with a snuffly Percy and a grumpy Gino, waved a sad good-bye to Little Red. How Little Blue would have loved to fly on Father Christmas's sleigh.
I suppose we better go home,
He sighed.
Gino, can you dig up our favourite tree to take back to Buttercup Cottage?
Gino threw Little Blue a disgruntled look as he dug the little tree out of the ground. Little Blue loaded the tree onto the sledge, popping Bear on top. He struggled to lead Percy with one hand and pull the sledge with the other as they headed for home. Whoopee! Whizzing whirling walnuts! Shrieked Little Red as the sleigh hurtled through the skies. But then a worried frown appeared on her forehead. I do hope that Percy's feeling better, that Bear's all right, and that Little Blue remembers to hug them both, she said.
There, don't despair, your Bear's in good care,
sang Father Christmas as they flew over the snowy rooftops. It was late when Little Blue, Gino and Percy trudged up the path to Buttercup Cottage. They were all tired, cold, and utterly fed up.
Little Red has all the fun. I bet she forgets my present,
muttered Little Blue as he dragged the fir tree through the front door. Curled up cosily in the armchair was Purdy. She bustled around, settling Percy by the fire and wrapping him in a blanket. Then she brought him a hot water bottle and carefully placed his hooves in a bucket of heated honeysuckle water. Suddenly Little Blue's hair stood on end. Dingly dangly disasters and dog-eared doughnuts, he cried. Where's Bear? Little Blue ran round and round in circles, getting more and more tangled in his scarf.
He must have fallen off the sledge. Little Red'll never forgive me,
he shrieked.
I've got to find him.
And with that, Little Blue tore out of the cottage. He stumbled in the direction of Christmas Tree Wood, with tears streaming down his face.
I'm a hopeless friend, he whimpered. I'm not just Little Blue, I'm very blue.
But just as he turned the corner into Sansom's meadow, he met Mrs. Badger trundling her wheelbarrow full of little badgers. Through his tears, Little Blue noticed a small paw waving from the wheelbarrow. It wasn't a badger's paw, it was Bear's paw. Oh, Mrs. Badger, you found Bear, he cried, hugging and squeezing her with all his might. Yes, dear, said Mrs. Badger. I found him half buried in the snow outside our house and recognized him straight away. I know how fond Little Red is of her bear, so I thought I should return him. Quick, Sticks!
Christmas pudding-tastic,
laughed Little Blue, and he wrapped Bear very carefully in his scarf. Then he told Mrs. Badger all about Little Red's adventure.
Why don't you come back to Buttercup Cottage with us? You could help decorate the tree, he said. I'm all behind like Roni's tail, and we must finish before Little Red and Roni get back.
So with Bear tucked inside his scarf, Little Blue rushed back to Buttercup Cottage with Mrs. Badger, all the baby badgers, and Gino. Everyone helped to decorate the Christmas tree, and the cottage, and even Percy's antlers. As they worked, they slurped marshmallow cocoa and crunched on crusty custard Christmas crumpets. Suddenly, Gino began barking excitedly and ran to the window.
Someone must be outside,
said Little Blue as he undid the latch and opened the door, just as Little Red walked down the path, laden with presents. Roni was smirking smugly from ear to ear. Little Red hugged and kissed each of her friends in turn. Then everyone looked to the sky and waved to Father Christmas as his sleigh flew up to the stars. Thank you for a wonderful adventure, Father Christmas. We'll send Percy back to you when he's quite better, called Little Red. Come inside, Little Red. You must be frozen, fussed Mrs. Badger.
Yes, do hurry, Little Red,
said Little Blue as he eagerly eyed the pile of presents. Everyone followed him into Buttercup Cottage as he pulled Little Red by the sleeve. Oh, how Christmassy everything looks! The tree is just beautiful, gasped Little Red, hugging Bear close to her heart. Little Blue, she said, handing him a very odd-shaped parcel. This is for you. Thank you so much for looking after Percy and Bear. What a true friend you are.
A horn! cried Little Blue. Fantabuloso! Toot toot! It's just the thing to make my tricycle go faster.
Ahem, sniffed Rhodey. And what about my present? Oh, Rony, you've been the biggest star in the universe, said Little Red. That's why Father Christmas wanted you to have these as an extra special treat. Rony's eyes sparkled as Little Red placed a bucket full of crunchy candy-coated Christmas carrots in front of her.
It was a piece of Christmas carrot cake,
Rony chuckled. Little Red raised her cup of marshmallow cocoa. Hurrah for Little Blue, and hurrah for Rony, she laughed proudly.
Hip hip hooray! We've all saved Christmas Day!
Everyone cheered. Happy Christmas!